What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Bob Arum, Terrance Crawford, and the PBC. Bob Arum was on an interview as he stated that, or he admitted or agreed with the idea of Terrance Crawford signing with the PBC. Okay. This is what he said. He said, well, maybe it's a good idea that Terrance Crawford should have went to the PBC if he wanted the big fights. Okay, he's fighting Kell Brook very soon. I think it's November 14th where that fight will happen in Nebraska or whatnot. But he, talking to Bob Arum with the other fights or with the other possibilities of other fights, he agreed that maybe he should go over there. Okay, maybe he should go over there if he wanted those big fights. There's a lot of fights that could happen. You have, of course, the Spence fight, Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Ugas. You have a lot of fights that he could have over there. And see, time is ticking. And I think Bob Arum said that. And this is my counterpunch on Bob. I think he said that simply because he knows that Terrance Crawford already signed an extension. So regardless of what he says about Terrance Crawford, he ain't going anywhere unless he wants to be like Mikey Garcia, and why would he want to do that now? But Bob, I feel, he did this now and he said this now because he knows that the star fighters or the star guys in his stable are either getting beat like Loma, because I think that depressed Bob. If you heard Bob's statements lately, I think Bob's depressed. Because he doesn't like the way things are going. He thought that certain fighters, he gave certain fighters perks and homage and respect and certain benefits that he didn't give other fighters. Okay, so when Loma took another L, I think that depressed him. I think that now opened his eyes like, look, I'm almost 90 years old. I'm probably going to, I'm not going to be around forever. Let's say that. And why would you sugarcoat anything? I don't think Bob Arum wants Terrance Crawford to go anywhere, because I know he doesn't have that type of mind based on his experiences and his and with other fighters. His experiences with other fighters like Mikey Garcia and all that stuff, that didn't have to be. Now, especially when he believed in you. He believed in Mikey Garcia, but he did not believe in a fighter like Andy Ruiz. He let Ruiz buy himself out. He didn't care for Floyd like he should have. So Floyd left. Oscar De La Hoya left. Miguel Cotto left. Manny Pacquiao eventually left. All these people left. That's a bad track record all the way around. All the way around. So you mean to tell me that you're going to tell a man now, oh, well, maybe he should have went to the PBC. Well, here's the deal. He knows that he can't. But he's just really saying that, hey, I don't really care. Let me share how I feel because, it doesn't really matter anyway. He's going to do what I tell him to do because he signed an extension. Now, looking at everything, Terrance Crawford is making a lot of money. And I look at Terrance Crawford being with Bob Arum just like I look at all the rest of the welterweights with Al Haymon. Okay? The same shit. They both get paid. All these guys get paid by their, the people that manage them. But they don't really fight the people that you really want to see. Those best fights, like Crawford fighting any of those guys, won't happen because he doesn't have control. Okay, Al Haymon wants total control. It's like he had to have Floyd over there, and he got, Manny over there, and he got Floyd to reel Manny in. That's what Al Haymon does. That's an Al Haymon tactic. He got Manny for a couple years, but those fights were made, and we seen some classic fights because Manny was over there. So was it a bad idea at the end of the day? No, not really. Not for the fans. You would have never seen a Pacquiao Keith Thurman if Manny was still with Bob Arum. So no. Now, would those fights actually be made? We don't know because we don't really know how Al Haymon would treat Terrance Crawford if he went over there. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that would have been the right move for him because, Al Haymon might have been setting up Terrance Crawford to make someone else like Errol Spence look good. In other words, get him over there. That fight don't happen at the end of 2021 or early 2022. By that time, Terrance Crawford, you know, he's been in there. Probably they'll throw him in there with Sean Porter and then Ugas, right? Ugas gets in there, and then, you know, that'll be probably one tough-ass fight. You know, and by that time, okay, you're easy pickings for somebody like Errol Spence. He might throw him in there with Keith Thurman. He has a stable of fighters that he can throw to Terrance Crawford if Terrance Crawford signed with him. But there's no guarantee that he would go over there and automatically get that. What happened to Manny when he went over there? He thought he was going to get a Floyd fight right after one fight. Remember he fought Adrian Broner? And then the winner's supposed to fight Floyd. Remember that shit? Did that happen? No. You know what I mean? So that was almost 2 years ago now. Now, where is Manny? 2 years have ran its course. There's no Floyd fight. No Floyd rematch. Facts, people. So is it a good idea for him to go to the PBC? Will we see some exciting fights? We'll see fights we never saw. But will we see the fights that we really want to see right now? No. Al Heyman, that's not his thing. Al Heyman will not put a fight and just bring a fight together for the simple fact of the fans. He doesn't give a shit about the fans. He just cares about making money and making the fighter money. That's all he cares about. Right? That's it. So if Terrance Crawford did go over there, there'll be no guarantee. But at this point, if Bob Arum is saying things like that, he's probably, you know, loosening his guard up enough and really not. I think he should be cautious for what he says because, you know, a lot of people are taking this and run with it, but they should. Why? Why not? You know, you don't say, well, maybe you got the best pound for pound fighter in the world. The last thing you should say is, oh, I think my pound for pound best fighter in the world. Now, you know he's best now. Lomachenko lost. So, yeah, you can't say that he ain't best now. You better claim that shit. You better wear it like a badge of honor. Because that's what you have. You have the star pupil. You have the champ. You have the creme de la creme. Not necessarily cash cow, but you have the best fighter in the world. And the last thing you want to do is disrespect that fighter by saying, oh, maybe he should go somewhere else. Knowing that you have a noose, not a noose, a leash around his neck, right? So those type of things, I think, should be taken into consideration with Bob, you know, and looking at the other fighters that were under Bob and see where they went. But at this point, maybe Floyd Mayweather was right about Terrance Crawford leaving Bob Arum. Now we look back at it in hindsight because that's very disrespectful for Bob to say. Okay, so, you know, especially, you know, talking about where he should have went instead of where he's at. You know, or he's just admitting that he can't get Terrance Crawford the fights like he thought he could, like he used to back in the day when we had fights like Trinidad and De La Hoya, those type of fights. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Bob Arum saying that Terrance Crawford should have went to the BBC. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.